Just a quick one today. I gotta make hay while the sun's shining, and it's actually almost literally that. It's been so long since I've been able to get out and get after the grass. I'm gonna do that in just a few minutes, but I wanted to finish up this section in John 1 with you today and give you an idea how you could use that. I could do some small group Bible study with that. Uh, really finishing up the section about the word arriving. I finished with 14. I'm gonna start with 14 today. The word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. What we've seen so far, and you can unpack this with people, is um, the word was something that was spiritual, right? It was in the beginning. I mean, almost eternal. Uh, the creative force of bringing everything into being, and now this creative force, this word becomes flesh and lives among us as a human being. This is a humongous claim. But John's there. He says, I was there. I saw this guy. We've seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son. Okay, earlier, we talked about if we put our faith in in the Word, we have the right to become children of God. That's an adopted child, right? And this is something you can unpack. Why does it say one and only Son here when we can become sons, daughters of God? Well, the one and only Son. This is made of the same stuff. This is uh, just like my son and I are definitely cut from the same cloth. Uh, and this one and only Son came from the Father full of judgment and wrath. No, full of grace and truth. That's what God is really all about. The judgment and wrath are part of it. But when Jesus came, it was full of grace and truth. Pretty good. Those are, again, with questions, you can unpack that. Uh, you know, what do we learn about what God was like through this guy Jesus? Well, he's full of grace, full from the Word. Well, he was full of grace and truth. Bouncing back to John again, John the Baptist, right? Um, he is the other human witness, and he testified about him. He cried out, saying, "This is the one I spoke about when I said, 'He who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.'" So here John is playing with time. He's trying to wrap his mind around who Jesus is. Um, he is so much more than me because he is this eternal word, this eternal being. John the Baptist understood uh, Jesus in the same light that the author did here. Now we're bouncing back to theory again, to philosophy. Out of his fullness we have all received grace in place of grace already given. Well, what does he mean by that? The law. To the Jew, the law was an act of grace. It was God saying, I've taken you out of slavery. This is maybe some background you can fill in here if you're teaching this. But the law was, I've taken you out of slavery. I've set you free. I'm going to be your God. You're going to be my people. Shooting us back to Exodus 19. And so here is how I want you to live as my people. And so the law was an act of grace to say, here's how I want you to live. You're my people. I've chosen you. And the law is part of that. So that was an act of grace. But now God's even stepping it up and say, let's go beyond law. Let's go beyond people and Master Savior. Let's go to grace and truth and to children and parents, children and father through Jesus the Christ. And there we first get his name right. Now we know who he's talking about. It's not the word, it's not the light. As great as those images are, it's through Jesus Christ. This is a great place to say that Christ is a way of saying the anointed one who has been anointed and sent on a mission to a specific job, a specific role. Kings were anointed uh, uh, into their authority, that sort of thing. Um, no one has ever seen God. Nobody's going to argue with that, right? This is for some, this is the big problem. How can you believe in something that you can't see? But the one and only Son, okay, so made of the same stuff as God, who is himself God, okay, and is in the closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. And this is right from a guy who was an eyewitness. So this is the claim. Jesus, the anointed one, was God come on the earth and has come to make God known to us. Pretty cool. Lots of ways you can teach this. Lots of questions you can ask, like right here. This is a humongous claim. How would somebody ever prove that? Might be a good question just to throw out there and see if anybody would come up with answers to that, and then hold those answers if they do. And as you go through the rest of John, that'll give you a point to say, oh, that's kind of what you said, Oh, that's kind of what you said. And kind of roll it back around so they can see that Jesus makes those claims, but you're not telling them how to think about it. They're telling you how to think about it. So any questions, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, comment on this, and I will try to get back to you. But right now the grass is waiting, so I'm going to go get it.